Panther people, what up? Dan Morgan and company drafted running backs and linebackers like it's 1998. Let's go. Howdy, watching Panthers post to Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining us. Well, it was a very eventful day two. Trades were flying, not just with Dan Morgan, Brent Tills and company. Brent Tills, by the way, rocking the Dan Morgan throwback. It was a customized game jersey. Either way, they were rocking the trades left, right, and center in day two. I lost track at one point, so correct me if I'm wrong. So the Carolina Panthers had the 39th overall pick in the second round, so a couple picks back after trading up into the first round to get Xavier Leggett. You got to add the double E's, as he said. They traded out of 39, down 13 spots. They gained a second-round pick in 2025, one of which they lost, which they gave away to the Chicago Bears in order to draft Bryce Young, who the pressure's going to be on now. A little bit more on that. So they added a second-round pick for next year's draft from the Los Angeles Rams, and then they traded back, and they also got another fifth-round pick for this year. So they had a lower second-round pick and then an extra fifth-round pick. They then got that pick that they just traded back 13 points, and then those two fifth-rounders to trade back up all the way into the second round, a little bit earlier. I think it was the 47th overall pick to draft a running back, the first running back in the draft, in Jonathan Brooks, running back out of University of Texas. The man is 6 foot, 216 pounds of just sleek Jamal Charles-ness. I'm not just saying because he's a Longhorn, because he is sleek, he is smooth, he is sexy. He doesn't let the first defender get him. He doesn't let the second defender get him. Not only that, he is a bruising running back as well. He packs a punch. So he was arguably, according to most draft analysts, the number one ranked running back in this draft class, and he's going to the Carolina Panthers. And we already know Dave Canales talked about this in one of his press conferences, that he's going to commit to the run. And you take a look at just what they built with Robert Hunt, Deion Jones, Austin Corbin at center. He is going to be the center right now, unless they can draft somebody else in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, and the 7th round. They got a pick in each still. They regained a 5th-round pick because they traded back again. I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. They got Austin Corbin at the center as well. And I just thought to myself, this is going to make Chuba Hubbard better. This is going to get Miles Sanders, if it's possible, better. But now they got a guy who I think is going to be the bell cow of the Carolina Panthers team. And Dave Canales talked about this before. The fact that he has not been with this team. He is brand new to this team. He doesn't know a lot of these guys. He has no emotional connection to anybody here, which is why he let the guys that we saw go, the Frankie Louvu's, the Brian Burns. He has no emotional connections to these guys. And sometimes you could say that fans sometimes elevate the talent of some of the people on their team just because they like them, because that's what they got. But the fact that he saw Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Raheem Blackshear, who we all think pretty decent, minus Sanders, who had a very off year in his Carolina Panthers debut, he still said to himself, you know what? F it. I'm just going to still get my running back, guy that I like. I'm going to get a big-time college running back in Jonathan Brooks, who is going to do things for me. Yes, he's got an ACL injury, and I think it's kind of ironic because Adam Schefter said, or I think it was Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, said that he's going to be good to go on July 1st, which, if you guys don't know, is Canada Day, and it most likely he is going to be RB1, in my opinion, supplanting our RB1 right now, which is a current Canuck out of Edmonton in Chuba Hubbard. So I like that pick with Jonathan Brooks. I think he brings that old school mentality, one that bring that dog. He's got that dog in him, but he's also smooth as well. Speed, power, both of that together. I absolutely love it. I'm not just saying this because I played running back and it's the position I understand the most, but I just love to see it. The Panthers were done. No, I think every single pick that they've had thus far, they traded to get it. So the Panthers then traded, again, they traded back from their position. They traded back, I think, 7 spots in the 3rd round. They had the first overall pick in the 3rd round. They then traded back. And I tweeted this out, just seeing how the board was falling. I thought the Panthers now, they couldn't go all offense. I didn't want to see that. After we saw what happened when you go all defense, it's just going to be imbalanced. So I figured they're going to go defense. I tweeted that they're going to get either an edge, because a guy like ADOSA Isaac from Penn State was still available at that time. This is before they traded back. And I thought they're going to get a linebacker. Guys like Peyton Wilson, a guy who I thought that they're going to probably get, probably look at well, because they had the connection with Luke Kuechly. NC State not too far away, and he had a visit with the team as well. So I thought that was a guy who I thought they're going to target. But turns out they went with Trevin Wallace, a very young player. Guy just turned 21 years old at the University of Kentucky. I'm not going to lie, I don't know too much about his game, but the analysis on him is pretty darn good. And if anyone who's going to scout linebackers that I trust, it's Dan Morgan. And I was just watching the Bleacher Report stream, which I thought was pretty amazing. Shout out to Bleacher Report getting CJ Stroud to really show his personality and kind of like a big FU to people who thought he wasn't smart The guy not only is smart, he's got a personality, he's got charisma, and he is the future of analysts, to be honest with you. He's an analyst I think the kids are going to love. Either way, Bleacher Report had another stream today. Didn't have any ex-NFL guys, but they compared Trevin Wallace to John Beeson. Miami Hurricanes, Carolina Panthers, great linebacker. Carolina tends to have, I guess, these underside linebackers is kind of part of the history. It just happens that you get these underside linebackers that are athletic freaks and just guys who just do it all and try absolutely hard, play balls to the wall. And they said, if anyone's going to scout linebackers well, it's going to be Dan Morgan. And the fact that they drafted who they thought was basically a carbon copy of John Beeson, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And also an SEC linebacker coming out of University of Kentucky, 6'1", 237 pounds. He had the second fastest 40 in the combine. Dan Morgan and Dave Canales just had their post day 2 presser with the reporters, and he says, he goes sideline to sideline. He's an athletic freak. Eventually, he will supplant Shaq Thompson. You're looking at that linebacker core with Shaq Thompson, Juicy Jewell. You knew they had to get somebody in there, whether it was Peyton Wilson or someone like a Trevin Wallace. Edgerrin Cooper was picked, I think, by the Green Bay Packers, one pick before the Carolina Panthers eventually took Jonathan Brooks. So is what it is. But I got a guy who is young. Like you're talking about turning this team over and not trying to win now. We know next year and the year after that is going to be when the team gets really competitive. By that time, he's going to be 23 years old, not even close to being his prime. But he is a project who I think is going to see a lot of game time. A good talent still. It's amazing how much talent is still out there heading into day 3. Where the Panthers, mind you, have the first pick in the 4th round. Will they stay there? Maybe not, depending on what they see out there and what's available. Maybe they trade down to try to get some more players who can contribute to make this team better. All right, so right now, TJ Tampa is right now, according to ESPN, the best available player all overall out of Iowa State. He is a big corner. He's 6'1". He's 189 pounds. He's a scheme versatile corner. Again, this is not my report. This is theirs. He doesn't catch everything he gets his hand on, but he has bigger hands for a corner, played the receiver position in high school, and flashes the ability to pluck the ball out of the air. We want that, so why not? And I've seen him mocked to the Panthers a couple of times from beat reporters, but he and J.C. Horn on opposite side, J.C. just getting that 5th-year extension. I mean, why not? Corner just waiting to be picked with the first overall pick in the 4th round. And then after that, you got Jadavion Sanders, the tight end out of Texas. They just picked up Jonathan Brooks. They watched the tape with Sanders. They probably saw him as well. So he's a guy who I could see the Panthers going back into offense maybe in the 5th round if they're still available. JALEN McMillan out of Washington. The guy's a former baseball player. Say no more than that. If you want a guy who can track a ball that's way up in the sky, over the shoulder type thing, he is a guy who I would love for the Carolina Panthers draft, just to add to that receiving room even more. Put the pressure on guys like Terrace Marshall Jr. and Jonathan Mingo. Again, Dave Canales has no emotional attachment to any of these people. Like, he could let these guys go if they find somebody in this draft class that they think that they can contribute right away. So I'm looking at guys like TJ Tampa in the 4th round, maybe to add to the cornerback position. If not, trade back. You also got guys like Troy Franklin, guys who were mocked to the Carolina Panthers in the 2nd round, maybe even in the 1st round for the Buffalo Bills. I know that was a sexy pick as well. So Troy Franklin, still available. Adisa Isaac from Penn State, edge rusher. He is still available. Again, that's another guy who was mocked in the 2nd round, 3rd round to the Carolina Panthers. Here he is still available on day 3. So you can very much, you can fill your corner spot with a guy like TJ Tampa. You can get your tight end of the future, Jadavion Sanders. Heck, even Cade Stover from Ohio State, he's still available. And there are wide receivers galore. It's blowing my mind right now taking a look at the wide receivers that are available. Here's a rundown. So you got JALEN McMillan, former baseball player. If it was up to me, I would take him. 6'1", 197. Maybe get someone a little bit taller than Troy Franklin, 6'2", 176, as that pure burner. Because sure, you got Xavier Leggett. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong. He's fast too, 4'3", 940. But Troy Franklin, he could just be the guy who runs straight. Just saying, just throwing it out there. Javon Baker, everybody's favorite late round wide receiver out of UCF. He is still undrafted as we speak. He's someone you can get. Devontae Walker, I think people are going to stay away from him, unfortunately. Malik Washington out of Virginia, hearing good things about him. Luke McCaffrey, Van Pran Granger. That's a guy who I know people are pretty sexy over, as well as Tanner Bortolini. Bo Limmer, I know that's Dame Parson out of the Draft Network favorite out of a center. If you know to get your center fix if you're out there looking to build the interior offensive line. Someone again talking about replacing the veteran, someone who could replace Austin Corbett, have him play his natural position at guard. On Bryce Young, it's there. It is there. They improve the interior offensive line. That is the number one place you want to help, not just for a short quarterback, but any quarterback, but especially if your quarterback is sub 6 feet. You got to work on the interior offensive line. They did exactly that. They paid almost $200 million for the two guards that are going to be on either side of Bryce Young to help him out. You just drafted him, Xavier Legette, who is a home run hitter at wide receiver, who catches the darn ball. It's got massive hands. He's going to make something out of nothing. The Yak King, that's something we missed after trading away DJ Moore to Chicago. And then you got Jonathan Brooks, who is also rated the best running back in the class, also a home run hitter, coming from an ACL, but ACLs are nothing now. And then you're improving the defense as well. And you got so many wide receivers still available in day three. Like if it's McMillan and if it's Javon Baker, it'd be kind of funny if Luke McCaffrey was a Carolina Panther, because then I could, I got a Christian McCaffrey jersey. Maybe he rocks 23 just for fun. Why not? I can see the pressure's on Bryce. We're going to find out this year and definitely the year after that whether he's the guy or not. No pressure, but I'm sure he already knows that. He's going to take it one day at a time, and I'm going to have fun. The Panthers are going to be fun to watch. They're going to move the ball. It's not going to be the defense huffing and puffing and going from the sideline back on the field because the offense can't move. I believe in this as a former running back. The fact that they drafted a running back in the second round, they're going to believe in the run. They're going to pound it, and they're going to let their playmakers do their thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think about day 2 and what your predictions are for day 3, what you want to see. See you guys soon.